My name is Patricia Fisher. I was born and have lived my life in the United States. I've been a teacher for 16 years and enjoy teaching immensely. I have a teaching license valid for ages 4 through 15 with a concentration in English grammar, literature, and writing. I enjoy finding new ways to grow within the teaching profession, be that through leadership roles, new learning environments, new experience such as this, and through staff development or continuing education. And now I'm going to read to you Scaredy Squirrel. We may not have time to finish as this is a 2-minute clip. The author is Melanie Watt, so I'll share with you the adventures of Scaredy Squirrel. Scaredy Squirrel never leaves his nut tree. Because outside of the nut tree is the unknown. He'd rather stay in his safe and familiar tree than risk venturing out into the unknown. The unknown can be a very scary place for a squirrel. A few things that Scaredy Squirrel is afraid of are green Martians, killer bees, tarantulas, poison ivy, germs, and sharks. Do you think that there are many sharks in the forest? So, Scaredy Squirrel is perfectly happy to stay in his nut tree. The advantages of never leaving his nut tree are that he has a great view, he has plenty of nuts, it's a safe place, and there are no tarantulas, poison ivy, green Martians, germs, or sharks. The disadvantages of never leaving his nut tree are that he has the same old view with the same old nuts and the same old place. Does that sound very exciting? Well, Scaredy Squirrel has a schedule in his nut tree. Everything is predictable and everything is under control. On Monday, Scaredy Squirrel stays in his nut tree. On Tuesday, he stays in his nut tree. On Wednesday, Scaredy Squirrel stays in his nut tree. On Thursday and Friday and Saturday, he stays in his nut tree. And on Sunday, you can guess where he is. He's in his nut tree. This is Scaredy Squirrel's daily routine. At 6:45 a.m., Scaredy Squirrel wakes up. At 7 o'clock, he eats a nut. Then at 7:15, he looks at the view. At 12 o'clock noon, he eats a nut. At 12:30, he looks at the view. At 5 o'clock, he eats a nut. At 5:31, he looks at the view again. And then at 8 o'clock, he goes to sleep. But let's say, just for example, something unexpected did happen. You can rest assured that Scaredy Squirrel is prepared. These are a few items that Scaredy Squirrel has in his emergency kit. He has a parachute, bug spray, a mask and rubber gloves, a hard hat, antibacterial soap, calamine lotion, a net, a Band-Aid, and sardines. The sardines are to distract the sharks. What to do in case of emergency according to Scaredy Squirrel. 1. Panic. 2. Run. 3. Get the kit. 4. Put on the kit. 5. consult the exit plan. And 6, exit the tree. And this is Scaredy Squirrel's top secret exit plan. Exit plan 1, note to self, watch out for green Martians and killer bees in the sky. Number 2, note to self, do not land in the river. If it's unavoidable, use the sardines to distract the sharks. Sharks don't live in rivers. 3, note to self, look out for poison ivy and for tarantulas roaming the ground. There are no tarantulas. Exit 4, note to self, keep in mind that germs are everywhere. Remember, if all else fails, playing dead is always a good option too. This is how Scaredy Squirrel spends his day. With his emergency kit in hand, Scaredy Squirrel watches. Day after day, he watches and he worries. Until one day, on Thursday at 9:37 a.m., he sees, you guessed it, a bee. A killer bee appears! Now, it's not really a killer bee, but he's afraid. Scaredy Squirrel jumps in panic, knocking his emergency kit out of the tree. That was not part of the plan. Do you think he's being a little silly? Scaredy Squirrel jumps to catch his kit. He quickly regrets this idea. The parachute is in the kit. But something incredible happens. He starts to glide. Scaredy Squirrel is no ordinary squirrel. He's a flying squirrel. And that's true, there are special kinds of squirrels that can glide for a long ways through the air. He feels overjoyed, adventurous, carefree, alive, until he lands in a bush. Scaredy Squirrel forgets all about the killer bee, not to mention the tarantulas, poison ivy, green Martians, germs, and sharks. And plays dead. 30 minutes later, he's still playing dead. That means he's pretending that he's not alive so that no one will catch him. An hour later, he's still playing dead. 2 hours later, you guessed it, he's still playing dead. Finally, Scaredy Squirrel realizes that nothing horrible is happening in the unknown today. So he returns to his nut tree. All this excitement has inspired Scaredy Squirrel to make drastic changes in his life. Scaredy Squirrel's new and improved daily routine. I think he's a little braver now, just a little. At 6:45, he wakes up. At 7 o'clock, he eats a nut. At 7:15, he looks at the view. 9:37, he jumps into the unknown. At 9:45, he plays dead. At 11:45, he returns home. At 12 o'clock, he eats a nut. At 12:30, he looks at the view. At 5 o'clock, he eats a nut. At 5:31, he looks at the view. And at 8 o'clock, he goes to sleep. P.S. As for the emergency kit, Scaredy Squirrel is in no hurry to pick it up just yet. It landed in poison ivy. The end. Again, that was Scaredy Squirrel by Melanie Watts. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.